What's good, Sly? Been waiting for this notification. That's good. The anticipation reveals itself. Excuse me. Okay. Oh wait, I need my phone. I was about to say I'm gonna put my phone down, but I'm like, I need my phone in order to see the stream. Uh, Also, I fell asleep yesterday and saw you offline. It'd be like that. Don't worry about it. Not gonna lie, I don't remember what happened yesterday. Oh, this guy. That's pretty much it. I was pretty much grinding for a bit at the end. I did get past that one annoying area. Lahar is a full-fledged demon lord, but he still needs to do demon lord duties. Alright. So, we never really played. We haven't played a DS game in a while. The last one we played was like a Kirby game. So, this is kind of a test run to see how well this emulator could run, but at the same time, be alongside the avatar that I'm using, which is my BC Face app. And if that has an issue, then I don't mind, converting myself into my PNG's form for a while. So on and so forth. But yeah. Also, you're typing, but it's not appearing? Chat box? Oh, there it is. Eventually I'll mess around with it and fix it better. See, and then this is an issue right here that I want to truly fix, which is just the sizing right here for this side of the screen. As a chat screen, let's go. Mostly the emulator games will definitely have the chat stuff on the side, because they're 4x3 instead of 16x9. Just let me fix this little angle here. Not too much, like one. There you go. I don't know. I like the spacing between it. Oh, is it gonna be running into a problem again? Might need to restart it, which is fine. Yep, I have to restart it. Okay, so it doesn't like when I tab out of it, so that's good to know. Just gonna close the game real quick. I also don't know how loud this is gonna be, so we'll see. Woke up with my stomach going absolute crazy because I put a lot of chili and hot sauce. You want the shits, is what pretty much you're saying. I almost fucking booted up Apollo Justice for a second. Oh, that's pretty loud. I want to be like in the game to see how loud it's gonna be overall. Therefore, I could like lower it. Oh yeah, that's pretty loud. That tuna was good though. To make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough. But a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what the cost. Maybe lower it even more. Oh, I'm just adjusting volume preferences here. Move your avatar to the left a little or make it even under the chat box. What do you mean? What do you mean? We might need to restart then if it's gonna be me fixing shit. You're kind of covering the text, that text they give. Oh, on the right? Okay, I'll move it. Or I can make myself a little bit smaller. See, like, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with how I am. Or, like, how... Because I don't know how it looks on, like, I guess, on a phone or, like, on someone else's computer, considering my screen for seeing myself is more... It's very small, so I can't see how it would look on a full screen type S thing. You know? Well, actually, I can. Let me... Go to the watch... No, go to myself. Like, I want to see my thing. Like, am I, like, a proper size? Or, you know? What's the red box for, though? The one on the bottom left? It's actually the YouTube play button? No, I'm kidding. It's the, this, where you move forward. Yeah. I was like, why is it going low, like, slow down? Because I was clicked off. But, oh, I see it's still covered. You know what, then? Hold up. Let me move myself to the right over here. I honestly don't know if, there's anything important in the bottom. If you're wondering why the noise is, like, weird, it's because I'm clicked off for a second. So for now, let's just leave it like this. Like where I am. Like with this as my back. And then I'll see how I feel about it overall. I gotta adjust the borders for this when I get the chance. Sounds good. I'm just messing around with some settings now. Alright. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. Up Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. The door is unlocked. Detective Gumshoe? What's the smell? This is very familiar. Blood? But I met a bot in chat AI that turned out to be an actual person with autism. Damn. What the? What's the meaning of this? A dead man on the floor. Freeze. Identify yourself? Shut up. You got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. Yesterday's conversation was the same though, bro. Was horny and wanted me to RP indecently, which I did not. Wow. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I worked at a prosecutor's office in the local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrust into into a multitude of cases and some very frantic and busy days. "2:56 a.m. Oh, this is what this would be here. The organizer. And I guess this is where you can see your shit and all this stuff. So like right now, I'm on the prosecutor's badge, but it's not gonna show up because my face is covering it. I don't know. Do you think this is important to like actually show or like what? Well, what's your idea on this statement? To like do shit. Damn. Kind of do, not gonna lie. I like seeing some. Okay, so I could just move myself a bit more. Like, maybe I'll be like right here. That should work, right? So if I do this. Yeah, I mean it's a bit small but I could read it. Like you can see what the evidence thing is, and then you can see like some of the text, and then what's over here, and then for the profiles it'll be the same thing. No, it is good. This does seem good. No, it is good. I'm a small boy today. Alright. I finished photographing the victim body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir. Ah! Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. I heard that a murder had taken place in your office. I ran up here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe, a detective with the local precinct. I was gonna suggest the removal of the chat box and putting your avatar there. I mean, I could if I want to. This is now a rerun test of the DS emulator, DS like streams, because we're gonna be on DS for a while for the fucking Phoenix Wright games until we get to Ace Attorney, but that's like the great Ace Attorney. Until like way in the end. So over time I'll be readjusting the screen, readjusting like where things go, you know, so on and so forth. And the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. Looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine, however. I have a funny idea, I'll Photoshop you. Okay. Look what they did to your office. It's totally trashed. Or thrashed. I'll say the culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud in my office. Oh, sounds like you're getting really burned up over this whole thing. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Oh, that's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. Let's not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. Excuse me. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched into the forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? Crime scene in my office. Is it really coincidence that the murder took place in my office? Logic. I get the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really. Especially because of this. The key to your office. For security reasons, the office door has a lock built into it. What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. So, how do you use it? First, I recall information through the logic button, and then connect them together. Gumshoes is gonna be like, what? Logic button? Now, test the logic button and recall the facts. Oh, LB could be the logic button. Okay. Is it really a coincidence that the murder took place in my office? My thoughts. I mean, I guess these two. How do I connect it with a button? X. Got it. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks. Which means it would have been hard to for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as a mere coincidence. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? Why did this killer in my office... Why did this happen in my office? What was the killer after? Okay. So this is the mechanic for this game, at least. I don't know what the second game is gonna improvise with. You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Okay. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir. Begin investigation. The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir. I know that. And when I want to examine something, I simply touch the examine button. Oh, if you ever feel lost and want to talk, just touch the partner button, okay? I'll give you great, precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. So how do you... Oh, you move with the D-pad. What have we here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. I think I've seen one of these before. Here to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know. It was issued the exact same model. I think. Detective, I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. But now I think about it, you do see the model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much except in emergencies. So that's why I didn't recognize it. So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by the precinct's detectives. Okay. Oh, cool. You could, like, see what's, like, in this office. Ouch! You even knocked over your chest set. Had it all set up, ready for when you got back. I figured we could play a few games. I had no idea you were interested in chess. I'm actually pretty good at checkers, so I thought I'd give chess a try. In that case, I suppose I can set some time aside after we solve this case. Though I don't expect the games to tax my mental acuity much. They finished photographing the body, so I should be alright to examine this area. Oh. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Oh, the bottom screen is used for this. Interesting. Is it possible to do something? Let me see. I have to figure it out how to do this again. Yo, this investigation music? Fucking lit? You think screen layout is how you change the things? Uh, swap screens? There you go. Okay, so I'm only gonna do swap screens every, like, obviously when we get to, like, these points. But yeah. Let's see here. I like how it does this. Okay, so maybe the bottom screen is still the same thing, in my opinion. Because we're trying to work out, like, how this game is going to work. Hold up. I'm looking for how to do this again. There you go. So maybe... because the bottom screen would just show... like, where to investigate. Like, because it's thinking that I'm playing on a DS, obviously, because it's an emulator. So it's going to be like, hey, tap here. Move your thingy here, obviously, right? But I think it's better that when it comes to the investigation portions that are like that, it would be easier just to, like, move around on... just keep the bottom screen where it is. And the top screen is where, obviously, all the conversation happens. So, like, right now, because I clicked on something. There's blood all over the lower abdominal area. Looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. Yep, and until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. We have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crime scene. See, and then we get the evidence here, right? Are you going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course. This is the safest way I know to keep track of it all. Alright, if you say so. I keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but to touch the organizer button, which is RB for me. Yeah, see? It's actually kind of cool that you use the left bumper and the right bumper for this stuff. But the organizer isn't only for evidence. I keep people's profiles on hand in there too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often. Dude, this song is so nice! And this is just the investigation music. Again, remember, this is just me, like... this is my first experience with this game. Let's see here. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. Looks like the bullet oh. Wait, what? Interesting, okay. What do we have here? I think it's, I've seen one of these before. It's a police badge, detective. Oh, hey, I have the exact same thing, actually. What a coinky-dink. Let's take a look inside. Fucking... Edgeworth's silence speaks all. Mr. Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. Logic, okay. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of, pertinent information. Now to calmly use some logic and figure out, if any of them are connected to each other. Their files are all over the floor, sir. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Okay. I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this just rendered all the time and effort I put in it pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I watered the flowers every day, just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life? Damn. So if you look at the body, is there really nothing about the hand? No, yeah, there's nothing about his hand. Interesting. I don't believe it. I packed those files all on these shelves so tight that not even an earthquake could make them fall off. But just look at them. At this rate, the rest of the files won't be able to withstand an earthquake at all. A problem to be sure. Well, once the investigation is over, we'll put them back up on the shelf. Okay, I think that we're done with here. It's a little bit laggy in certain areas here, but it's fine. Watch out for the teacup fragments there, sir. Ugh. The killer's going to pay this tea set. Yikes, you're really mad over this. The tea set is very dear to my heart and can only be bought in England. It costs more than your whole month's paycheck. What? I love the sprite work on Gumshoe and Edgeworth. I feel like the killer's wasted one of my monthly paychecks. Oh, it's your trophy. The Knight of Prosecutors, right? King of Prosecutors. And it's not a trophy, it's a shield. You only send this to the winning prosecutor, right? Yes, but I have no real interest in the perceived worth of other people. As for my own worth, that is something only I can determine for myself. That's so slick, sir. I'm gonna have to try saying something that sometime. Fortunately for him, his monetary worth is tied directly to his worth to me. Is this yet another batch of fresh flowers? The ones that come with a card attached every month, like clockwork for you, huh? Yep. Speaking of that, let's see. What's on the card this month, sir? All will be resolved. Wendy. Oh, Miss Irony? Wendy Irony? How painful are thy thorns? Wendy. Isn't the name of the old lady with the whiny voice that sucks? Oh. That's enough, detective. You need not remind me further. I hope we can solve this case quickly. I'd like to return to relaxing on the sofa. That thing looks like a billion times softer than my mattress at home. Can I sit on it too? Just for a little while, sir? Detective Gumshoe, you know I can't allow that. Until this case is solved, neither of us has the time to spare, let alone rest. You're right, sir. I'm gonna work hard and be a real trooper to the end. Even once this case is over, I don't think he can afford to take any time off. Hope we can solve this case. Oh. How's it coming along? Please, I need absolute silence. Fingerprint lifting is a delicate art. All I never. Do you have anything to report? Sir, yes, sir. Nothing out of the ordinary right now, sir. And yet, there's something out of the ordinary right in front of my eyes. Talk about a contradiction. Something out of the ordinary, huh? I should look around a bit more. Ren, I'm a genius. Why are you a genius? It's been a while since I sat on my desk. Oh, how I missed you. So tidy that it looks newer than when I first bought it. Oh yeah, that thing's so polished that it makes me mirrors jealous. Don't tell me you had no other work than the entire time I was away, detective. My job is to protect your office, sir. And you did such a good job protecting it that a murder occurred in it. That's harsh, sir. I have to admit the desk has never looked better, so I guess I can't dock his pay. There's something out of the ordinary I didn't see. That's the body. This is the gun. That's the sofa. I don't think I could go look at the painting. Oh, okay. Not exactly a shining example of perfect line of logic. Okay, so if you mess up the logic. Signs of a struggle. Victim was a... Oh, duh. The revolver. This. The revolver, the revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could have belonged to our recently departed. Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see. What have we got here? Mr. Edgeworth, sir, this guy's wearing a gun holster. So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Okay. Let's see what else we can find out about the revolver. Oh, shit. As I always say, you've got to look really carefully at each piece of the evidence. You can use the scroll wheels to rotate an object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. Use the sidebar or the X and Y arrows to zoom in and out to get the nitty-gritty. Oh, cool. Oh shit. Looks like only one round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot after wresting the gun from him. Some of the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? No scroll wheels and X and Y arrows. Who just does? We have no proof for now, but that is a distinct possibility. Guess this is about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to Jim. Why, oh why? How could this have happened to a guy like you? Are you alright? Don't touch me. Leave me alone. Just let me be. Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. Sure, just in a blood-stained suit, pal. Where are my manners? Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes I am. I am Jackus Portsman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime busting. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I'm also a prosecutor. Dr. Dick Gumshoes here. So, you're Miles Edgeworth. I guess this is your office. Yes, that is correct. Then it was you. You're the one who killed Jim. Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not. I know how things work around here. High prosecutor's office doors all have locks built into them. And the only owner of the office has the key to his or her own office door. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So the only one who could get in here was me. Ho 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 ho. Wait. That means... I'm not sure what that means. It was you then. You're Jim's killer. No way, pal. You've got it all wrong. Everyone calm down. Mr. Portsman, sir. Mr. Portsman, correct? If you are a real prosecutor, you should know to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Alright, I get the point. You're right, you're right. My mistake, oh my god. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. You sure are one cool customer, though, Mr. Edgeworth. I've heard all the rumors about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know? Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? A pleasure to work with you. You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on then. It's your room, after all. Thank you, I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there, sir. I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner, Jim. I should probably give them some space. Oh, now that he's not investigating the... Ah, your jacket, sir. What's it doing on the floor? Must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round. The killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well? They dared to shoot the ultra special jacket that you made your prosecutorial debut in? What if they had shot through it? It would have been a disaster. It's not worth getting worked up over, Detective. Not when there's something more here. Hmm? Like what? I take it you haven't noticed it yet, Detective. There's a giant contradiction right here in front of us. Really? Did I say contradiction? Must be rubbing off on me. Starting to sound like him. But I have my own methods, and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, that's when my deductive skills come into play. First, I have to find the spot that holds in contradiction. Here? This is it. This bullet hole is where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should touch the deduce button. When I found sufficient proof to prove the contradiction I presented. This is how I do things. Oh. Eureka. The bullet hole is the contradiction. What do you mean, sir? It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first felled the victim. The second felled this frame. Hey, that's right. However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true, too. Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? A handgun. By the way, I noticed something, sir. Yes. What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Oh, it's a secret safe. A secret safe? Oh, I smell money. I'll spare us the trouble and just say it. Nothing like what you're imagining is inside. Now, if you could kindly move the frame out of my way. Roger that. Talk about dusty. I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while. I had no idea there was a safe here, or oh my god. I had no idea there was a safe here, and I have kept it clean for you, sir. So, when did you put this thing in? It wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea. Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Right now, nothing. We only use them to store especially important evidence when a trial is in session. That's it. Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. Won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Now this is odd. You found something, sir? This keypad. Don't you find it to be a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist? Yes, sir. Could you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. I couldn't find, let alone lift, a single print. Looks like it was wiped down so well. As I thought, it appears that logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly connect the dots with the information we have. The white fingerprints, another handgun. Maybe this is the killer's goal? I believe I figured out what the murderer was after. Well, what is it, sir? The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal hadn't at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. Because that gets added to the thing. I wonder if knowing that the motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other piece of information can tell me about this crime. So, the motive was theft. Must pointed to a struggle between the victim and the killer. The culprit tried to open my safe. Was the killer's motive theft? Other than the victim's gun that I found, could there be another gun in play here? I mean, I don't have any other information, right? So it would be these two, right? Yes. There's a possibility that the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, you mean like it could be from the killer tried to find something, sir? Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen. Yes, sir. I'm gonna shelf files like you've never seen before, even at the library. What? After 10 minutes of constant pressing. Oh, you got your point. Yeah, I was having an issue with that yesterday when I was watching Coffee Stream. I was trying to claim points and it just didn't let me, so I was like, what the fuck? And then it just happened. I'm sure. Let's give it a try. Why don't the good ones always die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. And, so what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth? First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place. You got it. Here, let me help. So this file goes here, and that book goes there. You sure know a lot about where things go, despite it being your Mr. Edgeworth's office. Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal. Okay, done. Oh. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here. The bloodstains on the bookshelf are still fresh. I suspect that the victim was killed in the standing position, hence the prints on the shelf. And then the guy fell onto the floor, right? The blood on the floor floor is just kind of grossing me out. Detective, I don't have the time to deal with your weak stomach right now. But you know, I'm no good with blood, sir. I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Did I get it? It is clear where the contradiction lies. I don't really see what's wrong with that spot. Ha! You don't understand. You see, therein lies the contradiction. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, it'd be nice if you just admit when you're wrong. That wasn't a mistake. Oh, okay, so it was a mistake. That was me keeping you on your toes, detective. Okay, so you can't do that unless you have like something that contradicts it. I guess just examine for now. The victim's handprints, he must have tried to support himself with his hands here after being shot. There are prints on the floor too. Those must have been made when unable to stay standing. He dropped to the floor. This is where the bullet lodged itself after it went through the victim, huh? For the bullet to be lodged so squarely in a file spine indicates that the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred. And I guess the victim was moved because he was in the killer's way. It appears that the victim was in a sitting position here after being shot. Oh, so that's why the seat of the victim's pants has blood on it. That would be the logical conclusion. Do I have anything that contradicts any of my evidence? Crime scene notes. Wait. Yeah, doesn't this like contradicts because it's like way down here, but he's been shot in his stomach, which should have been up here? I think it should, right? There's clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole. What do you mean, sir? Ah, see, I got it. Did you see the Photoshop? I spaced out the entire time pressing the button. No, I did not, because I'm in the middle of a stream, Sly. You don't see. Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up. But what if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir? That would be illogical. The victim leaned against this shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot. Oh, right. That means, wait, what does that mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption. And it was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. What's the faulty assumption that caused the problem with the bullet hole position? The position of the body, the position of the handprints, the order of files. The position of the handprints? Position of the handprints is what's causing this problem. We wouldn't be in this dilemma if the handprints were closer to the ground, but the handprints are where they are, up there on top. Yes, you are quite perceptive, which is why this is not a viable hypothesis. Also, it was just a what if, then what's the right answer? You still can't figure it out. Allow me to explain. Yes, please, sir. Guess he didn't notice the slip-up, although at this point I shouldn't be surprised. Okay, so it's not the handprints. The position of the body? The order of the file? I don't know. Maybe it's the order of the files, but let me see. While he was lying down. Wait, didn't you just say that? Oh, yeah. The victim leaned against the shelf after he got shot. It was trying to be nice and explain my complex logic in an easier way for you, detective. Oh, really? Thanks for thinking of me, sir. Good, I don't think you noticed my mistake. Okay. I believe the order of the files is a bit off. You mean I put them back in the wrong order just now? Hey, actually, I think the labels on the files are wrong, sir. Oh? Yeah, you see here how the files that were shot begin with the number 0? What are those doing all the way down there after 1, 2, and 3? That's really weird. Actually, the way they are organized now is the correct order. They're exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. Those white binders are special, so they are arranged a little differently. But from this, we know that the files were not in the order when the crime occurred. Aha, so that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you did, detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order to see what we find out. You think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to how it was before it was moved? You finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. Will you please, Detective Gumshoe? As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith. And then put the files back in numerical order, I guess. Exactly, and then proceeded to shoot the victim. But why would someone kill a man and then look through your files one more time? Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after the crime, but why? Wasn't it to make like a false crime scene or some shit? Or to like hide how it was? Now the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give it another look. I see something here. This. What is this? Why does it say Gumshoe on there in blood? I'd say it's some incredibly incriminating evidence. That's it. Wait, yes, indicative? Oh, Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. No, wait, there's gotta be some mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me. Say something, sir. It appears that one of my files was stolen. Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation? Is this what the killer was really after? Oh, okay. Hey. There were some slip-ups. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the smartest one in the bunch. Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. And the most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is a guilty party. You're going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit. I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words, they're more than enough, wouldn't you say? If that's how you want to play it, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it. I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. There must be some sort of flaw into his logic waiting for me to dig out. Mr. Edgeworth, what are we going to do? What I always do in court. I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw of his logic with this technique. Oh, how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? Might as well. Alright. First, I listen to the witness testimony. If I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence, I open the organizer and present the piece of contradictory evidence. To present something, I simply must touch the present button, but that's all it means. But it's not like there's gonna be a flaw in their testimony every time, right? Correct. And at those times, I need to press the witness by touching the press button. Pretty much doing cross-examination, okay. Sometimes by pressing, I can draw out new information and new and modify information. Information, I don't know what I said. I think you get it, sir. I'll be sure to try the technique out during the investigation, too. Very well, I'll even show you how it's done. Now watch carefully. Ooh. Mr. Portsmouth's logic. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed the theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer. I can hear Jim's voice and he's calling for his killer's arrest. Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Portsman? There's no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I'll find a flaw in the man's logic and expose it with the credible evidence. Rebuttal. Why is it like slowing down here? Was discovered in my office, issued the victim and believed to be the murder weapon. Detective Gumshoe stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Each prosecutor has one in their office, only they know of them prints or were wiped. One of the files that were written upon in blood was stolen by the culprit. Oh, interesting. Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed the theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But next to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. I feel like there's something to contradict here. Reporting with some evidence. You're talking about the space in between? It would behoove you to take a good look at this. I see, but I failed to see... Okay, no. Is that so? You're on top of your game today, and you're messaging. You can't allow him to set me back. Oh, shit. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. Thanks to that, didn't know the bloody letters his body was hiding. Trying to figure out what the fuck is up. One of the files that were written upon in blood was stolen by the culprit. Each prosecutor has one in their office. Only they know issued the victim believed to be the murder weapon. Only one shot was fired. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. You messed up the files to make... You really think it was necessary to disable my shelves twice to do that? That's true, okay? Then maybe his real intent was theft. Hey, are you accusing me of stealing something from Mr. Edgeworth? It's a possibility. Maybe your salary's been cut so much that life is getting a little too hard, too rough on you. How do you know that I eat 3 square meals every day, pal? Okay, so all 3 of them happen to be instant noodles. But, poor thing, what an evil prosecutor you were paired up with, and what a motive, no. Why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing? Because the body was getting in his way, he had to mess up your bookshelf somehow, right? Anyway. Thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. Why do you think that the killer didn't notice the bloody letters? The body was covered in quite, the body was covering quite well, wouldn't you say? That's how he missed it. But judging by what I've seen, it doesn't take much for your detective to miss something. Who do you think you are? You know nothing about me, pal. There's a lot of a person can understand about another from first impressions alone. I can't say I disagree with him on that point. Why don't you say something, sir? Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Despite his lack of attention to detail, I don't believe the detective to be the culprit. Nobody could have overlooked the bloody letters. I can prove it with evidence. Couldn't ask for a better setup. The game-finishing spike. I had to present something here. Which is this, right? Did I get it? Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Okay, I did get it. Aware, Mr. Forsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. Bringing a bit of the courtroom into this. I see. No problem. I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking. I get it. You have the time to laugh, then you have the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? That's impossible. What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on the shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines. It's possible that they could have taken a file before committing the murder. I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on it. The missing letter is the detective's name, where the file should be his proof. Yeah, I mean, the S is gone, and there's only half of an H. If Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case, I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written up in blood on the files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. Which means, what exactly? What does that make this dying message? It makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. That's so low. I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir. I'm gonna get him. Sir, you'll see. I'm gonna have them under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Portsman? Ha 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 ha. Brilliant. Absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold. I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed. Man, you win some and you lose some. That's how life goes. Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. But you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. What is it this time? Are you still after me, pal? Give me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. Well, Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. Ooh. Like the suit. That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence. And then why do I sense that you still have something to say? What the fuck was that? Oh, I was thinking, did you know there's one other person with a key to this office? One other person. Hey, you there. Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort the lovely young lady here for me? A lady? The girl is a member of this building's security. Think of her as a wait, what? Security? Did you say security? No, stop it, pal. Don't. What's wrong with him all of a sudden? I believe she needs no introduction. I have called upon Miss Maggie Bride, a member of security. Oh no, not Maggie again. Like the gumshoe, sir. Maggie. Miss Bride is a security guard on watch tonight. I see. And your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all the office doors in this building. What? You're not the guilty party, Dr. Gumshoe. And the only other person with the access to this room is Miss Bride. How dare you? I would never sneak into someone's room. That's right. I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me. That's right. I did it. Can we take that as a confession, detective? Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. So yeah, it was me. It was... God. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right? Please refrain from flying off the handle, detective. There's no need to for such theatrics. Ugh. Listen to your boss, detective. He understands what I'm saying here. Don't start this shit again with your fucking opening of the coat and on. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. Reason for suspicion. It's pretty obvious that Miss Bride snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that leaves only Miss Bride as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all that more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. So you're saying she used the master key? Okay. Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well. Now it was then. This is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and your reaction time, especially for an athlete like me. Wonder if there was anyone else other than Miss Bride who could have used the master key. Seems that the only way to get Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him. Ow. Ah. Okay. Reasons for suspicion. Pretty obvious that Mr. Bride snuck into your room using the master key. Are you sure Miss Bride is the only member of security who could have used the master key? There's only one person on staff at the time of night. Stop doing that, and tonight she's it. Isn't that right, Miss Bride? That's true, but I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. I like her outfit. Wasn't able to. What's that supposed to mean? Yes, moving on. I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated. What do you mean unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal. But you can't really trust her not to tell lies. Plus, I hate wasting time. Should I hear Miss Bride out? Ask for more details. Not so fast. I too am interested in hearing what Miss Bride has to say. Didn't I say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. I'll be the judge of that, Miss Bride, if you please. I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 AM, sir. What do you mean by missing? As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Forsman, I believe this is to be an important piece of testimony, don't you? I can't believe that someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir. If that's the case, then I'd like to know why you have the master key now. I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. A likely story, and where is your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? Hello, Miso. Bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. You like Miss Maggie Bride? You like Maggie Bride? I never lose things. I can't practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. For real. Yeah, pal, trust me, you don't want to test just how bad her luck is. Mommy Bride. Fortunately, I can't dream the piece of testimony as conclusive. Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth. But, you still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. Her motive? Didn't we already establish that it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. It is as Mr. Portsman says, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards a motive of theft. But I'm done taking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own. Her intent from the messed up shelves to wipe down to the wipe down safe. I'd say thievery. Your name is with it. I concur that the culprit's motive appears to have been thievery, however. Glad to hear that the great Miles Edgeworth is in agreement with a little me. However, with regard to the investigation of the bookshelf and safe. Visual glitch. Hey, good thinking. Asking for my opinion on the matter. Would it be too much for you to allow me to complete a full sentence? Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door. That leaves only Miss Bride as our prime suspect. Don't you think it's a bit early to be jumping to conclusions? Are you saying there's another way to open the door other than the master key? Oh, I get it. Perhaps you had a spare made for someone else. I'll have you know I have never made a spare, so what are you insinuating? Nothing. Guess I should know. I should have known better than to suggest that someone like you would. Top of which she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Is there anyone in this district who hasn't at least heard of Detective Gumshoe? Good point. He's practically a celebrity among us prosecutors. Really? I never knew I was so talked about, sir. We're holding our collective breath, you know. For when you screwed up so badly that you're literally chased off the force. Wait, what? Is that true, Mr. Edgeworth? Of course not. That's hogwash. Phew, don't scare me like that. I almost had a heart attack there. Made it all more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. By dying message, you mean the bloody letters that spell out Gumshoe. I figured that whoever wrote his name must have wanted to frame him. And just the act of choosing his name is proof enough that the two knew each other well. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and present some evidence. Would love to. But first, we should listen to a bit more and digest what he is saying. The only one I haven't pressed on was this one. Thought we had established Detective Gumshoe's innocence pretty thoroughly. It was just a theory, one hypothesis among the many possibilities. Wait, am I able to present... Okay, no, not from here. Miss Bride from the very beginning. If that's the case, then why didn't you mention her first? Now, don't make that face. See, there goes the truth running the other way. Let's pick up the pace and see if you can catch up to it. I don't think you're catching my drift. But we are in agreement that the detective isn't the killer, right? If so, then I hope you'll understand what I say. Don't do this. That's since she is the only one who could have opened your office door. And then leaves only Miss... Wouldn't the other key be the thing? Bullet went clean through the victim's abdomen and the body was found around. I must object to your line of logic. And which part do you have to object an objection to? It's yes, well... Take home, Mr. You're no good when you're all flustered. Detective's right for a change. How did it come to this? Calm down, Miles. Listen carefully and think everything through a bit more rationally. Then it leaves only Miss Bride as our prime suspect, on top of which she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. Pretty obvious that Miss Bride snuck into your room using the master key. Her intent from the messed up shelves to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that leaves only Miss Bride as our suspect. Can open every office door. It was stolen from the security office. But we can't use that as a counterpoint because it could be considered a lie. Top of which she knows our good detective, doesn't she? I pressed on everything, right? Making all that more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. One of the files that was written upon in blood was stolen by the culprit. I'm too stupid for this game sometimes. Her intent for the mess up shows to wipe down safe. I don't know if I pressed this one. It occurred that the culprit's motive appears to have been thievery. However, glad to hear that you great Miles Edgeworth is in agreement with the little old me. However, the regard to investigation of the bookshelves and safe. Hey, good thinking, asking for my opinion on the matter. Would it be too much for you to allow me to complete my full sentence? Is it here? Her intent from the messed up shelves to the wiped down safe. I'd say thievery. You sure Miss Bride is the only member of security in which she could have stolen the master key? There's only one person on the staff at the time of night, and tonight she's it. Isn't that right, Miss Bride? That's untrue, but I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. Wasn't able to. What's this supposed to mean? Discovered that the master key was missing around 1 a.m., sir. What do you mean by missing? As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. How likely story, and where is your proof that the killer was, the key was stolen to begin with? Maybe you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. What do you know, pal? Besides, Maggie doesn't have any reason to want to sneak into Mr. Edgeworth's office. You mean her motive? Didn't we already establish that it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. It is as Mr. Forsman says, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points toward the motive of theft. But I'm done taking blows. It's time to counterattack with the few facts of my own. Her intent from the messed up shelves and the wipe down. Is it this? Nah, it can't be. Ah! I'm not good at being marked. Her intent from the messed up shelves to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery. But it makes no sense for her to steal anything. Each prosecutor has one in their office. Only they know of them prints were wiped. I got it. Do you wish to continue insisting that Miss Bride was set to on stealing something? Why not? It's the truth after all. It was also by your logic that we came to the whole theory conclusion anyway. That may be that may be. But you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe. The existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. Ah! I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe was a part of her cunning plan. But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything upside down. I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were the target. Yeah, even I didn't know about the safe, pal. That means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then, are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable. What's wrong, prosecutor? Do you have a different suspect in mind now? Curses, why? What made you... What's with the angry face all of a sudden? It's all my fault. What do you mean? It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes. Of the secret safes. What did he just say? We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's what I told him. I filled him in on the secret safes. And then that means... Yeah, I know I had only just told him too. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. I still can't quite believe it, but the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim. Now he's claiming that the victim was the thief. And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you? Miss Maggie Bride. Excuse me. I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even if you're risking profession. Even in your risky profession. You're still accusing Maggie of the murder. Yes and no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it. It was self-defense, wasn't it? No, I couldn't. I could never do something like that. Not even as a security guard, sir. Plus, even if he was the thief, he wouldn't have the key to the office. What a thing to nitpick. Oh shit, Bride, it looks cute. Is she holding a plushie? I think she's holding her hat. Which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Ah. Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us, unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Poisson, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense. Has he no honor? Now then, I think we're done here. Now I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you people be so kind as to see yourselves out? You can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office. Ah, but I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You are all suspects of varying degrees and therefore ineligible to run the show. Listen, pal, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Take the gumshoe, calm yourself. But sir, we have no choice but to accommodate his request for now. Aha, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Mark my words, Mr. Portsman, we will meet again. If that's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, then I suppose so. Now then, now don't disappoint me, you hear? We got to the first half. Fucking finally. That was just me being stupid. Press start any time during the game to save your data. Oh, okay. Saving, do not turn the power off. Will do. Just turn off my whole entire computer. What is with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. True. Then what now? Looks like my life's fallen into your yet another gigantic ditch. Do not despair, Miss Bride. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of this argument against Miss Bride is related to the master key. If that's the case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door. Okay, now we're in the hallway. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious nook and cranny. Well, there is something right here. It's... Ah! Is this the missing Zero Series file, sir? No doubt about it. The blood letters mark it clear as day. There seems to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind. So what are these Zero files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly. It's just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine. Huh? They belong to a high prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. Then that means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. Wonder what anyone would care about such an old case. Okay, we got that out the way. Almost switch to desktop? Yeah, sure. What is a basketball doing here? That's Mr. Portsman's prized possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. Not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in a hallway. Oh, Mr. Payne, sir. What is a basketball hoop doing here? Hey, didn't this used to be just outside next to the building a long time ago? So when and why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently. Drag it? I heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it himself. All the way up to the 12th floor. Is everything alright? Yes, sir. If you must know, I weighed myself this morning and I'm finally at 154 pounds. Congratulations. But I was asking about this hallway and this room. Oh, everything's okay, sir. Word of advice: stay focused, or you may start to lose even more weight. Looks like you're in quite a pinch, Mr. Edgeworth. To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. You must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly post haste. Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open. How gracious, I will keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again? This is Mr. Payne. Did you and Coffee play together? I saw him stream before I continued to sleep. What do you mean? He was streaming yesterday. After I finished streaming, he was streaming. Like, he started streaming and he was doing a speed run of Mega Man Legends, and he like did a run at least. I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case. I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. Can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing my notes to her through the present button. Okay, victim. Have you ever met the victim before? Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsman's office. Mr. Fate was always playing basketball with Mr. Portsman, sir. That sounds like fun. Just once I'd had loved to play with them. Sounds fun, but the only person ever taking a shot was Mr. Portsman. All Mr. Fate ever did was pass him the ball, sir. On second thought, I don't think I'd have to fit in all that well with them. Maggie Bride. Damn, not gonna lie, she really is cute. Maggie? Yeah, I don't know, like, her outfit in this one is really nice. I think it's just the outfit that they gave her, it was really nice. It's just a normal, like, casual outfit, too. Miss Maggie Bride, correct? I take it that you are an acquaintance of the detective. She was under my supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. One day, she got caught up in a murder and things started going downhill, so she quit. But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. Or so I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night. You got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct? Don't worry. My whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and now I even managed to be named a criminal just when I become a security guard. That's a lot to go through in your one lifetime. I know, and just when I thought I had finally found my happiness, I wind up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck. You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bride, nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask all I ask in return is for your cooperation. Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth. You can count on me. I'll do all I can do to help. That's a new expression for her. Let's see. I guess we talk about the Master Key because he wants to talk about the Master Key. So you guys played together after you finished the stream? No. I just went to his stream to watch him play Mega Man Legends while I was like doing some other shit on the side. So when did you discover that the Master Key was missing? By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 AM, sir. And I noticed it was back at around 2:30. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. But I'm sure that between those two times, I was not, wait, what? But I'm sure that between those two times, it was not just gone, but stolen, sir. 1 AM to 2:30. Okay. Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place? Ah, it's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window. Always you say, except for this time, we're correct? Well, I admit that that was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had used it that I left it sitting out on the ledge. To use the Master Key. Can I question her? Oh, there you go. What do you mean by you used the Master Key? Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. Yep, that's a hat. I mean, it's my job as security guard, right? Ah. What is it? That's right, I just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir. What? Please tell me more, Mr. Bride. Quickly. It was around 12 AM. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the Master Key to him. No way, it's against regulations to loan the Master Key out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then, what happened after that? Well, he called for me to come close, he called for me to come close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 AM, I think. So in summary, for the sake of our forgetful prosecutor, you used the Master Key twice tonight. Talk about suspicious. I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, Detective. Then this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. I think we got everything out of Maggie right there, because I don't think any other information would involve her right now. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Y is the button. Anything interesting about investigating? Talking to the witness, Ace Investigator. Ah. Okay, so Y is to ask your partner's help. Can I form any logic right now? Files in disarray. Master Key was stolen. Use the Master Key. Another handgun. Okay. There's nothing information-wise here. I'll rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Room 1203. I take it that this is Mr. Portsman's office. Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir. Oh, that reminds me, Mr. Portsman had actually wanted room 1202 really badly. But since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him next door, sir. So why was Mr. Portsman so particular about getting room 1202? I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like his birthday is December 2nd. Yep, that's gotta be it. I can't think of another reason why. I can think of at least 3, but why am I even wasting time thinking about this? Door's locked tight. I bet the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? It is an office of a high prosecutor detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if an average cat burglar could get through them. Ah, so I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be who our culprit is. Might I advise you to return the conclusion to whatever pawn shop you bought it from? Anything else specific? A minimalist yet classy door, maybe a top quality wood. Kind of majestic too. Fits in really well with the ambiance of the prosecutor's office. Even Mr. Portsman seems dignified just because he works behind one of these. Nonsense, a man doesn't become more or less dignified because of where he works. Well, he still seems more dignified than Mr. Payne. Mr. Payne, I suppose custodial work can also be dignified. Poor Mr. Payne. And I can't use a key, right? Yeah, okay. They're the gumshoe. You look rather intrigued by something. Care to share? Ah, it's nothing, but I noticed that Mr. Portsman calls his partner Jim. And the detective in that Sunday night drama, All My Cops, is named Jim too. I bet one of them is a big fan of the show. You seem to know a little something about it yourself. I figure you watch it too. Of course, the tight bond of friendship between prosecutor and detective is great, sir. But it's nothing compared to the super strong friendship we have. Ho ho ho. Friendship, detective. I think you're mistaking it with pity. How can you say that, sir, and after all we've been through, too? There's a low detective, so I'm not so sure what I should be doing with the nurse. That's the only talent you have? Oh, wait. I think I'm missing something here. But it never hurts to take another look. Check the door, check the doorknob. I think I had to do logic. Another handgun used the master key. The master key was stolen. But then again, this doesn't make sense. He was used to unlock and lock Portsman's office at 12 a.m. and 1:30 a.m. His key was missing from approximately 1 a.m. until... Doesn't this contradict this? What? I mean, let's see what I could do with this. See if there's anything that comes out of it. Miss Bride, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. Okay, yeah, there is. What? No way, pal. I mean, sir. You said that you locked up Mr. Portman's office at around 1:30 a.m., correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time. Wow, nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw the contradiction like a pro. I totally forgot all about that, but thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right. It was around that very time that I realized the master key was missing. And Well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. You pretended? Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir. So in actuality, you never did relock the door then. Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. Fucking. Here we are. Won't rest until I inspected every suspicious nook and cranny. Edgeworth, didn't you think about, oh, I don't know, turning the knob earlier on? The door is locked tight. I bet the old credit card... What do you fucking mean? Open the door! Oh. Right, the deduce button. I forgot about that. Eureka! There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bride has said is true, then why is the door locked tight? Huh? You know, you're right. Miss Bride, are you sure you didn't relock this door? I'm certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsman's noticed it himself and that I hadn't. Which means... What, sir? Either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bride opened wasn't the one at all, but a completely different one. She opened a different door, but how can you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is... we need to examine these. Print on the master key, print on the doorknob, print on the number plate. Print on the number plate, they will tell us all that we need to know. Everything? Really? Like what, sir? Like, well, for example, okay. Further Detective Gumshoe's dinner will only consist of instant noodles. Wow, that was amazing, sir. How did you know? Was that supposed to be a joke to cheer me up, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, that's it. Now then, we should get back to going. Okay, Printing the master key would only consist of Maggie, I guess, right? Because he's... I don't know. I think the doorknob will tell us everything. Hey, you. Yeah, you, pal. Do us a favor and see what you can lift from this, okay? So, what did you find out? There's no need for such a belligerent nostril flaring, detective. Belligerent. Sir, I have found only Mr. Portsman's and Mr. Fate's prints on this doorknob. So only two people's prints were found on this door, huh? That's pretty decisive. Huh? I'm lost, sir. Thinking logically, a certain other person's print should be on the knob as well. Now then, whose print should also be on the doorknob? Miss Maggie Bride. Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? You mean... Yes, the door that Miss Bride opened could not have been this one, but a different one. There you go. What have we here? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Oh, wow. What is this? It looks like a scrap of paper. I get it, sir. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it. I bought the 3 pieces of evidence by just like we talked about on the phone, but it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch you later, buddy. Looks like a note from the victim. And it's for Mr. Portsman. Excuse me. What's this? We're looking at, sir. Oh, hey. How about it? How about a game? That's okay, detective. I just found the position of this hoop to be a little off. Hey, you're right, sir. Fences shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk. The positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. It's better. I'd better take a note of this. Okay, I think that's like everything I can get out of this. I have anything logical related? No. Interesting, so I could examine here too. According to the guard, no signs of the lock was picked either, sir. Meaning that the door really was opened with a key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wiped, they think. However, whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. Guess I had to investigate my own door. Hey, we did it. Poking around in the hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely. Huh? How so, sir? In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case. You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth. As long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind his murder is none other than Mr. Portsman. What? Mr. Portsman? I knew it. That's exactly what my logic senses were telling me, too. I suspected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir. That is anything but logical. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Come what may, it's time to knock on Truth's door. Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letters, sir. All right, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, take good care of this. Oh. Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. Another line for you, Portsman. We've got you now. Call of your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jackus Portsman, that you are the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset, getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you could stay if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job. I can see right through the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl. Haha. Who'd have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? The legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaching me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? Are you done trying to play mind games with me? Because they won't work. The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for now is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't you full of ourselves? Even though you have yet to prove anything. Here we go. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being a culprit. Besides, how may I ask, do you propose I unlock your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Sorry, but we're not finished yet. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something. I'll show you what I'm basing my accusations on. With evidence. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how may I ask do you propose I unlock your door and got in here? It would be this one, right? I believe you were able to open my office door with the master key, no less. Wait. Hold on for a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. That's right. You used your finger to direct the person to open my door up. You had asked Miss Bride to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know? But the room you had Miss Bride open at the time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. Well, why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir. See, Miss Bride backs up my story. Yes, yet what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you wanted? Ha! And how do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right, they do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you then use one other thing to give a very strong impression. The door she was opening was yours and not in fact mine. What was it that Miss Portsman used to make Miss Bride think that it was my room? The basketball hoop. What? The basketball hoop, sir? It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building, which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor. That's very true, sir, because there was a basketball hoop sitting there. I thought the door was opening. Had to be Mr. Portsman. There are signs that the hoop has been moved. To sit it in front of my office, to be sure. I see. So that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Okay? Conjecture's rebuttal. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had a girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. So he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Miss Brad is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. My jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know. I just washed it yesterday. Please calm down, for I intend to show you who is the one truly covered in slime here. Conjecture rebuttal. Now you're just spawning nonsense. Yes, I opened the door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. Isn't it because he didn't see the note? No, it was the other way. Actually, maybe I have to press him. After that, I was in my room the entire time. And what were you doing in your office? I was doing my usual training regimen. Training regimen? Were you going through your law books from start to finish? Mainly, mainly batting practice and some weights. Oh, and I jog when I get the chance. Wow, you must be the buffest prosecutor we have. But the weakest legal muscles, it would seem. I was doing my usual workout, so... I think I've given you quite a few reasons, actually. But none of those would stand up on their own. Then what about all the evidence? It's all circumstantial. No judge would convict on such flimsy evidence. I think it might be the third statement. Because that's like the only thing that could contradict his fucking... After that, I was in my room the entire time. No! His door is closed. Fuck, wait. Isn't it really... It's either the paper thing or his door is closed. So let me go to his last statement. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. You to take a good look at this. I see it, but I failed to see... Okay. Yeah, okay, so it must be the paper on the third statement. Oh, you're able to do this during this. Okay. Makes it kind of easier to do this segment. Oh, fuck. If it's not this, then I'm gonna press him on the other two statements. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it was paper on third statement. That was a lie. What are you talking about? How was that a lie? This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Porchman. A note. It was left under your door. Or did you not notice? And right here it says, but you're out. You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you and what were you doing? I'll explain it in full detail for you. You were busy snooping around in my room, the very room you had Miss Bride open for you. That's just nonsense. You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way. There's proof positive that you had Miss Bride open the door for you. His door, right? I had your door dusted for prints. My door? Ha, what for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right, I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bride's fingerprints. Her prints? What do they have to do with that? With anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her prints should naturally be on the doorknob she touched. Ah! Further, all of the prints on the my office door's knob has been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bride's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We know you stole it in my office with the intent of stealing something from me. And Detective Fate found you out. Possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. As a Porchman, you killed Mr. Fate to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. And just what's so funny, pal? Well, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all, and he even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already. And as I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints. Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that knob down well. I'm a little obsessive, compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had touched, which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my own prints would be on that door. You made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for the note Jim left for me, do you know exactly when was that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like early evening, for example. I'm saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway. Hey, even geniuses failed at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse. Now that's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. Ah, but you can't prove that, can you? Say something, Mr. Back me up here, sir. Horseman makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. You said to have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only realized that I had one just now as we were talking. I guess it would have been better for all of us if I had told you sooner. Oh, man. If memory serves, you came back at this office at around 2 a.m., correct? And it was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's a perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe. Sir, yes, sir. I'll go check on his alibi, sir. Be right back. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys down in criminal affairs said they saw him at around 2 a.m. You see? All of the evidence points up to him being the culprit. There must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere. Might need to press him. Memory serves, you came back to the office around 2 a.m., correct? You're correct, it was around 2 a.m. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with that time. I remember checking my watch then and make no mistake, it was 2. Oh, giving testimony like that like a pro. Okay, so you came back to your office at 2. And it was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. It is as you say, however. Yes, however, you are the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see. Oh, come now, I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh, well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down at Criminal Affairs. So you paid the Criminal Affairs Department a visit. Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight to the precinct. Ask around, I'm sure the other detectives that will corroborate my story as a perfect alibi. Well, we did go and ask around to confirm your testimony. It was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time. See? I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Ugh. Impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi. What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth? Heh. I think we've reached the end of the line, and it's time to get off the crazy train. You there? Sir, please escort the young lady out, but remember, be gentle. Maggie, check the gumshoe. I like Maggie in casual wear. Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn the situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me cast doubt on his alibi? Okay, that's put it in my logic. Need to calmly think this through one more time. And with logic. Okay, so I'm using logic now. The intruder I met could not have been Mr. Portsman. Then who could it have been? So I need to connect something with this. Other than the victim's gun that I found, could there be another gun in play here? The culprit rearranged my files twice. Once before and once after the murder. Why? Let's see here. Other than the victim's gun that I found, could there be another gun in play? I only have 3 things though. And these are the only 2 that kind of fit. But then again, I don't know. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life. And one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once. Meaning that there's entirely possible that a second gun was used at my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Fate's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person, which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Okay. Therefore, there's the 2 files that are fucked up. That's why it was 2 rearranged. Okay. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight. That would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were appended twice. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder. So it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it. And once again after the murder by our second culprit. Who was the owner of the second gun? We suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back. Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth. Sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. It means that in actuality, 2 culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean 2? It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were 2 guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bride and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have an actual proof, you know. You could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves, This is the first. This is the first time. So then, this would be when the files were put back into the wrong order, right? Correct. And then just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Fate? But why did Mr. Fate come into your office, sir? He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office. Coming from my office would be my guess. Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into this office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Fate probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Fate's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Fate for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired and the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left a big dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? If things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another visitor, sir? Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, the new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems that the thief around their prize, the stolen 0 file, right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during the brief encounter. So the shelves getting messed up twice and the 2 bullets. It was all because 2 different people were doing those things at 2 different times. Precisely. So now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief and was not, in fact, Mr. Fate's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is not irrelevant. Because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit. What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood security. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Mind you, irrelevant. I fucking hate when it does that. But there is still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir. But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point. Don't say that, sir. I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. Fucking. This guy. That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for the thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here when I left. Do you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course. Now isn't the time to be wasting time on dead-end discussions. Bro is annoying. He's funny. I even though I say I hate when he keeps like fucking opening and closing his jacket, it's somewhat funny because it's like, what are you really doing? Like, what is this? What are you doing? I don't think it's all a dead end at all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Okay. Rebuttal. The thief you ran into should be the real suspect, wouldn't you say? Actually, no, I wouldn't. But why not? That's elementary. The dying message, of course. Mr. Fate's killer very clearly left those letters on the spine of those files. And it was after they were on there that the thief stole one of them. You mean the 0 files, right? And that's how we also know the letters themselves were a setup and not from Mr. Fate. If the thief was the killer, do you think they would try to undermine themselves? Maybe the killer just didn't think of that either. Yes, that must be it. Maybe, just maybe. They might still be nearby. Once escaped, I highly doubt a thief would linger nearby. Well, you never know. Maybe they didn't get what they were really after. Oh? You talk like you know quite a bit about this thief. It's nothing like that. I had no idea about anything after all. Statements. But according to Mr. Fate's note... Hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. Didn't we say that Jim left that note for me in the early evening? If you have proof that he left it in a different time, say just before he was murdered. I don't have any, no. You see? So I insist again that I was in my office the entire time. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at criminal affair. Why didn't you go there with Mr. Fate? That's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know those sofas in the hallway? He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. What of the evidence he brought? They were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. 2 items, a gun and a pendant. They're related to yesterday's case. He actually left 3. He said that he left 3 on the note. Only 2 pieces? I believe the proper phrase here is, you fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully. It says that Mr. Fate was bringing 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Postman. I can't believe him. I can't believe he get tripped up by simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe. You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from here head to toe. Well, don't come any closer. I'm warning you. It was all part of the investigation, pal. So don't even think about stopping me. No! Hey, what's this? He has his on him, sir. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. But why would he hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. For the section of the tape that will drive the last nail into the coffin. How do you do this again? Oh, there you go. KJ8 incident. Or KG8 incident. That's a police case number, sir? Does that mean this video is evidence from that case? Interesting. However, what's recorded on this isn't what's important right now. Let's give the casing a thorough look. Okay. Oh! Blood! Ah, that's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what a good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No, you've got it all wrong. No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was it the moment of his death? Did Detective Fate have this videotape on his personage when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine the tape for fingerprints. Ah! If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderers, you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible. He ate his medal. Oh. He's fucking. Fuck, it's 5 in the morning for them. This is almost 6 in the morning for them. Mind you, hold up. Mind you, real quick, that Edgeworth just came back home. Like, he just got back from his flight, and then he's like, I really gotta deal with this right now? It was 2 something, exactly! He got home at like 2. Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab text on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back, and it was definitely Mr. Fate's blood on there. They were also able to lift a few of Mr. Fate's fingerprints on as well. Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. It was nothing, really. Compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that I was only a burglary. It was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. If it had been a hold-up or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from the goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. You know something, sir? That Mr. Portsman really was one corrupt prosecutor. And why would you say that he was corrupt? Well, I heard that there was a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir. Forged evidence, huh? They say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. Oh, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession. We never did get around to asking about what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near that topic, he just clammed up. Although we can be pretty certain that it was a steal something. It's just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. Oh, well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to the rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Huh? Then Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy? I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance to to this piece of evidence. This, right? Person who stole this file, the other villain of the night. Yeah, I wonder who it was, and what happened to the stolen pages. I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Yes? I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card. What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on here? It's not just any bird. It is the mark of the raven, a three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? The great thief everyone's talking about. Yes, it's the mark of the great thief. Yatagarasu? Yatagarasu? Under the mark of the legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is noble to the end of modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The thief is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although it has been a while since the Yatagaratsu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's written on the back. What? Let me see. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. But the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu. Organization. Quite a few keywords are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming. For they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. I think this is a good stopping point. This is a good stopping point then. Yo, this shit was so fucking good for just being the first fucking episode that we did. I know there's 3 more episodes after this. It's a pretty short game, but short game in quotes. But the way how it's like kind of like expanded later on, it's like way in depth. I know the last, from what I looked at the walkthrough of like the last, it just showed me like how many parts there are to it. It's like 4 like parts, like main parts and shit, and I was like, oh god. Like, cause you see the beginning one, and then you see the later one that's like way beyond. Okay, but that was a good time. I had just experienced something new from Phoenix Wright / the Ace Attorney series. Is phenomenally crazy fun, especially with a new mechanic that's like the logic, and it's like, all right, how the fuck do I use logic? And it's like connect these 2 things, and I'm like, oh shit. But yeah, other than that, I enjoyed my time. Definitely gonna be playing this next week. Let me just make sure with that. Yeah, next week we're still doing a stream. The 3 days we're still doing a stream. It's the week after that I'm not gonna be able to stream. But other than that though, good time. So let's see. Next week, Thursday, if I'm not fucking dying of allergies and medication. Final Fantasy IX. Friday, more Disgaea. Saturday, more Ace Attorney investigations. Yes. On that, I think it's a good time to end the stream now. So I'm gonna be off. Bye. Jenny. This felt short. I mean, it was 2 hours and a half, so yeah. It's just the first part though. Probably the next part will be a little bit longer. But yeah, bye, Jenny.